they have a massive advantage on 55 clean and jerks at 225, 155. Massive. Yo, the last chance qualifier workouts are out. This is CrossFit's last chance before the games to put out a good series of workouts to build some trust before the games come out. So the question is, what do they look like immediately? And I'm going to tell you that they're too heavy. I don't know if the real answer is that they're too heavy, but I think that they're biased towards the larger athletes. I'm going to tell you all about that. I'm going to paint a picture for you, and then I'll go through each and every workout individually, because actually individually the workouts are rather cool. You look at each one, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. There are 4 of them, but as a big picture, they're biased for the bigger, stronger, heavier athlete. The question is, and we never have an answer, we've never had an answer to this, is like, what's the idea behind it? In years past, we know that Dave Castro had a big picture plan for the CrossFit Games. Right now, we don't know if there's a big picture plan. We know that the semifinals have nothing to do with the quarterfinals, have nothing to do with the last chance qualifier. So are these just workouts plugged in right here, serving a purpose to get someone to the CrossFit Games? I would have to say it's much closer to yes than it would have been in years past, where it was like the open, went into the regionals, went into the games, and there was a picture, and it's like the athlete who won the games had gone through the entire gambit of the system. And the throw up this year is that the semifinals are kind of at their own accord, meaning that they can do whatever they want with the bumpers, and the bumpers look rather dumb from an outsider's perspective looking in, of course. But this is another little wrinkle in the season. It's the last chance qualifier workouts. Last year the workouts were freaking awesome, and everyone's like looking at that deadlift, and it's like, there's a deadlift, there's a strength event. One event right there out of 4 is going to be completely biased for the heavier athlete. Now all of a sudden, if you don't have a deadlift, you're essentially shit out of luck. And this year people are looking at it and they go, okay, no lift, CrossFit learned their lesson. But did they really learn their lesson? Because if you put in a deadlift and you're not a good deadlifter, you were screwed last year. Now there's no heavy lift, so I guess that it's not one thing that makes you screwed, and you are supposed to be the jack of all trades, work on all of your weaknesses. And I would have to say that you could use that argument towards the heavy deadlift last year. Oh, you don't have a heavy deadlift? Well, you can't even be in contention for the fittest on earth, so fuck you. When you look at these this year and you're about to hear everything that I have to say about each and every event, you could probably say the same thing. Well, you just can't do that, you're out. They're only taking 2, it's your last chance qualifier, you're lucky to have even gotten this. But you know what? Every single time that CrossFit programs an event, I like to think that it's going to get the most well-rounded CrossFitter out of that event. So when I look at this event, I think that it's heavy. And I think that it's heavy because I look back to an event that I did in 2016. In 2016, I think that I had just come off of my regionals performance as an individual, and I was going around, I was competing at local competitions, and I signed up for this. Don't want to name the competition, don't want to throw them under the bus. I really tried not to throw people under the bus, believe it or not, but there was 5 workouts of this competition, right? Each workout was worth 200 points. The first workout, which I found on the internet, by the way, I went all the way back through the Facebook page and I found these workouts for this video. Squat, clean, hang, squat, clean, jerk. And it's like, okay, the biggest, baddest person's going to win that event, or the best weightlifter, but usually it's the biggest, baddest person at a local event. Each event was worth 200 points, and I believe you went down by 10 every single time you didn't win. So second got 190, and then third got 180, so on and so forth. The second event was kind of cool. I told you the first one was worth 200, this one was worth 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. It was 4 different things. The first one was a max vertical leap with a 30-second rest. Then you had to do a 1-minute max handstand hold, which is actually where this box comes from. It comes from that competition. So you had to see how long you could fill up the 1 minute with one go, and I did the full minute unbroken. I was like, that's pretty cool. But then you had a 30-second break, and then you did a 1-minute max L-sit hold. How much can you fill up that 1 minute? And then a 30-second transition, followed by a 1-minute D-ball over a 48-inch box. Each of those was worth 50 points, and I think it went down by 5s. So if you got second, you got 45. If you got third, you got 40, so on and so forth. The third event was a 2-parter. Each of these were worth 100 points, if I recall. So event 3A was a 1-minute max assault bike calorie. Event 3B was a bunch of farmers carries and then another number of assault bike calories. So you go down and back, down and back, down and back, down and back, down and back. You hop on the assault bike after having walked down and back with those 100-pound dumbbells, and then guys do 40, girls do 32 calories on the assault bike. And then you do 6 more trips followed by another number of calories on the assault bike. At the end of the entire thing, the males ended up doing 100 assault bike calories in part 3B after doing the max number of calories on the assault bike on part 3A. And event number 4 was 10 chest to bar pull-ups followed by 6 dumbbell snatches snatches with the 70, 10 chest to bar pull-ups followed by 12, and every single time you got back to the dumbbell, it went up by 6. And every single time you got onto the chest to bar pull-ups, it was always 10. And then the final, which I couldn't find, but you're going to have to take my word for it, was an ungodly amount of thrusters at 135 pounds with some burpees sprinkled in there. Why do I bring all of this stuff up? Well, strength has always been my issue. It's not really something I've been very great at, and it's something that I've always been working on. I've always been really good at gymnastics. And I remember going to this competition after having just come off of my qualification for the regionals, and I remember doing that first workout and having my placing, and it was like, okay, whatever. It's what I'm going to do on a lift. That's the best thing that I got in there. I think I hit like 315 on that complex back then. It is what it was. The next event was those 4 different things, and I remember I won 2 of them, and I'm like, okay, I got 100 points for winning those 2 of them. But the vertical leap and the D-ball over the freaking box, it was exactly the same people who won the clean and jerk were the same people who won those 2 events, and it's just like explosive power. And then all of a sudden you think, well, I did what I could do. I won the 2 events that I should have won, the handstand hold and the L-sit. On to workout number 3, 1 minute max assault bike calories. Well, who do you think's gonna win a 1 minute max assault bike calorie? Probably the same person who won the clean and jerk, who won the vertical leap, who won the D-ball over the box. The biggest, baddest people. Into event number 3, which was more assault bike calories. Who's gonna win 100 assault bike calories for time while walking around farmers carrying 100-pound dumbbells? Probably the same person who won the clean and jerk, and the same person who won the vertical leap, and probably the same person who also won event 3A, which was basically the exact same thing. This one was just extrapolated out to be a little bit longer, and you're running around with the dumbbells, which were not light dumbbells. They could have made that a handstand walk. That would have evened it out a little bit. You see where I'm going with this thing. And then you got event number 4, which has 10 chest to bar pull-ups at a time, but those don't ascend. What does ascend is the 70-pound dumbbell and the 50 for the females, but at the end of the workout, you see that it goes up by 6, it goes up by 6, it goes up by 6. At the end of the workout, people were into the round of 36 dumbbell snatches. Now you tell me, who's going to have an advantage doing 36 dumbbell snatches for time? I'll tell you, the guy or gal who did the best on the clean and jerk, who did best on the vertical leap / D-ball over the box, who did the best on assault bike, 1 minute calorie, and the same person who probably did the best on the part B, which is the same person who did best on the part A. And then the finale was an onslaught of freaking 135-95 thrusters, and the rest is history. And now we're to today, and I'm going to critique the last chance qualifier, and I have very similar opinion to this. So when I program, I almost always have that event stuck in the back of my head, and I'm going to say, if I'm going to write something, I don't want somebody to look at an event or a series of workouts or a programmed week from my programming, and I don't want them to say, well, everything was like this. And if they do have a feeling that everything was going one way, they know exactly why, which is why I, in my notes section on my workout, say this is why we're doing this, just so you know, so that you aren't thinking Andrew's lost his mind and this competition's going to be won by the biggest, baddest individual. So if we really quick, we look at 1, 2, 3, 4 for the last chance qualifier. Workout number 1 has 40 thrusters at 185, 125. Workout 2 has a 2K row. Workout 3 has 55 freaking clean and jerks at 225, 155, and workout 4 has 200 wall ball shots. 200 wall ball shots. It looks like madness. It looks terribly challenging. I guess it's the last chance qualifier. But when you think of that, you think 40 thrusters, 185, 125. That's heavy. That's for the heavier, bigger, badder athletes. You got workout number 2, which has a 2K row. The erg is very much dominated by people who are bigger and badder. Workout number 3, you got 55 clean and jerks. That's almost double Grace at 225, 155. And then workout number 4, I'll admit that I'm being a little bit aggressive, but freaking 200 wall balls for these athletes, it's going to end up being better if you're a bigger athlete. Taller, you move the wall ball easier, and like, Andrew, but there's also 100 burpee box jump overs. It's like, okay, yeah, you got that one. The double unders are a wash. They don't freaking do anything. But all of a sudden, if I'm looking at these and I'm looking at the male field, who's going to make it through the last chance qualifier, Andrew? Who's going to make it through? Well, I don't really know. But now I have a good idea that probably Matt DeLugos and Griffin Raleigh are going to be the people to make it through, because they are the strongest, most powerful, and tallest, and biggest, and baddest athletes on the field. Does that end up playing out that way? Who knows? I never know. But I think that they've got a pretty good chance now. And maybe you can throw like a Tyler Christophal into that, but they've got a much better chance than, let's say, my guy Connor Duddy, or maybe even like Jake Berman, who are smaller athletes. On the women's side, I'd say Fee Sagafi's completely screwed. So is Katrin David's daughter, just completely screwed. And I actually really, really like the chances of like maybe a Maddie Sturt, Sarah Sigmund's daughter. I think Orr Cohen's completely in trouble after all that said. But you see where I'm going with this, right? So as I said, if you look at each workout individually, I kind of like them. You look at it and you go from 0 to 2, you got to do the 20 thruster, the max rep bar muscle up, and the time remaining. thing. Now here's the deal, is if you're a bigger, badder athlete, those thrusters are not going to affect you as much as they will as if you're a smaller athlete. You'll probably do them unbroken. Maybe you'll break them up 10 and 10 just to be smart. It's going to take you about a minute to do that. Maybe, and if you go unbroken, it'll take you as little as 40 seconds to do that. So it gives you a minute 20 to do the bar muscle ups. Okay, cool, a minute 20 to do the bar muscle ups. At this level in the game, a 185, 125 barbell is much more impactful on these athletes than a series of bar muscle ups. It's a cool workout for sure, but this one, even by itself, I would say is slightly edged towards the larger athlete, especially when you get into that 4 to 6 minute realm after your 2 minute break where you've got to go buy in 20 bar muscle ups followed by max repetitions thrusters. Who do you think is going to be the most likely to be failing those thrusters? Probably the smaller athlete who had to get through them in the first place, who tried to maximize their ability to do the bar muscle ups, and now they're failing the thrusters on the back end. So when you look at the back end, all of a sudden you realize it's like, okay, it's basically thrusters on that second one for time for the type of tippy top scores there. Bigger, badder athlete. We got workout number 2. And I see workout number 2 very much reminds me of one of the Rogue Invitational workouts. I think it was 2019 where they had to do a 2K row buy-in followed by a number of handstand push-ups, and I don't remember, it might have been like 10 minutes, but I remember I did this qualifier and I remember looking at everybody's scores who had come off the rower who had posted a score, and just about everybody and their brother was coming off at about the 7-minute mark for the males. We look at this workout, we see that there's an 8-minute time cap for the males and a 9-minute time cap for the females. I like the fact that there are different time caps for the males and the females. I think that it's a pretty cool workout, but I do not think that there's enough time for this smaller athlete to overcome the advantage that is going to be had on the rower by the bigger, badder athlete. So I think that the time cap should have been 9 and 10 minutes. Even just that extra minute right there, everyone's going to be coming off male side anywhere from 6:40 to 7 minutes. That's because maybe I'm wrong and maybe someone's going to come out like a bat out of hell and do it in 6.5 minutes, but I really doubt it, because at that point in time, you're putting yourself into the shithole. So they're completely pigeonholing this one in to say, hey, you're going to do this row, you're going to have about a minute, maybe a minute 15 to do your handstand walks, and how far are you going to get in a minute or a minute 15? They better have their video review team ready, because they're going to need to be watching that monitor, make sure that their hands are on the handle while their feet are still in the stirrups, because every half of a second is going to count on this one. But still, this is one that's favored for somebody who's 200 pounds plus on the male side, maybe 145, 150 plus on the female side, because they will handle the rower better, and as long as they can do any handstand walking, they will have an advantage here. That wouldn't be the case if you gave them another minute, because maybe they peter out a little bit, and maybe the better handstand walking athlete now has a chance to overcome the rower. Workout number 3, you have 55 clean and jerks at 225. It's got a 20-minute time cap. You still have shuttle runs listed the same way. Down and back is 1. At least this one makes sense, where you have a barbell over here, so down and back is 1. So you do the clean and jerk, you go down and back, you're back on the clean and jerk, you do 2 clean and jerks, you go down, back, okay. It makes a little bit more sense this time, other than that madness that was the shuttle workout number 3 in the quarterfinals. So cool, this one makes more sense. That doesn't mean that it's going to be plugged in well for this competition. I think that you should have made this barbell 135. 55 clean and jerks would have been completely okay at 135, because still, if you are a larger athlete, you will have a slight advantage on a 135 barbell, because you can move that thing a little bit easier because you are stronger. But then you have to also do the shuttle runs, which you will have a slight disadvantage on compared to the smaller athlete. On this one, the larger athlete still has a slight disadvantage on the running. However, they have a massive advantage on 55 clean and jerks at 225, 155. Massive! 2 athletes. You got Cody Anderson. Would you take Cody Anderson or would you take Sam Dancer on this workout? I'd take Sam Dancer every day of the week, because he's going to throw 225 around like it's no problem, and then he'll just basically shuffle step through that shuttle run. And then we got Cody Anderson, who could slaughter the shuttle runs, but he's going to be slowed down by the 225, 155 clean and jerks. They're both former games level athletes. I think they actually made it in the same year. Fast forward a little bit, and who do you think is going to win this workout? Who do you think of the 2 of those is going to win that row workout? I think Sam Dancer pulls a 6:45. I think Cody Anderson pulls like a 7-minute 2K row. I think that Cody Anderson in the 1 minute won't be able to overcome the 15-second advantage that Sam Dancer got. That first workout, I think Sam Dancer does the first 20 thrusters unbroken. I think he goes into the bar muscle ups. He gives 2 or 3 sets. He has about the same number of repetitions that Cody Anderson would have having done 1 set on that first bar. So let's say Cody Anderson does his thrusters. He needs to break them up because he's a smaller athlete. He gets to the pull-up bar. He does 1 set of bar muscle ups. Sam had the ability to do 3 sets because he earned it with that set. And then he gets to the back end. Sam Dancer does 2 sets on his bar muscle ups. Maybe he goes 12 and 8. Cody Anderson goes unbroken. They're on the barbell. Cody Anderson is down to singles or doubles because the barbell's so heavy and his triceps are so shot out from doing all of the work. And then you've got Sam Dancer, who's like, well, I've been able to do this since I was 12 years old, and he goes unbroken for the rest of the minute. Probably not unbroken, but he's still able to maintain sets of 5, 6, or 7 on the barbell thruster time. And thus far, after 3 workouts, we're looking at a Sam Dancer victory over Cody Anderson in a landslide. I'm not saying that one is much more fit than the other. I am saying that it's obvious that Sam Dancer at about 225, 230 was bound to win those 3 events based off of the fact that he was a larger person in general. And then we get to the final workout. 2 rounds for time, 50 burpee box jump over, 75 double unders, and 100 wall ball shots. It's got a 20-minute time cap, which is the same time cap that the last workout had. Looks very different though. So I would say, if anything, this competition should have been these 2 workouts. It should have been workouts 3 and 4 and eliminated workouts number 1 and 2, because these are both 20-minute workouts. They're both kind of work capacity workouts. If anything, the last one was definitely skewed towards the larger athlete. And this one, you can make the case that it would be better for a smaller athlete due to the fact that there are 100 burpee box jump overs. There are also 200 wall balls, so I would say that the burpee box jump over goes a little bit towards the smaller athlete. The 200 wall balls goes a little bit towards the larger athlete. The 75 double unders are a complete waste of time. They should have been 2 rounds for time of 50, 100, 50, 100. Why are they throwing a double under in there? I don't know, because the burpee box jump overs are going to take them about 3 minutes. The wall balls are going to take them about 3 minutes each round. The double unders, I don't care who you are in this qualifier, not one person is going to be taking any longer than 50 seconds to do their double unders. So it's 3 minutes, 50, 3 minutes. It's like, give them a bigger number of double unders. Put them at the end. You can still make it look cool. Go 50, 100, 150 double unders. That would have been cool. The numbers make sense. Maybe the bigger athletes are a little bit more impacted by the 150 double unders, because 75 double unders doesn't do shit to anybody at this point. This is actually my favorite workout of all 4 of them, just because it's a grind. I think that we would be missing then the prototypical burner CrossFit workout. That first one I don't really think is a burner CrossFit workout. I think it's an interval-based kind of anaerobic power CrossFit workout. There isn't like a 21-15-9 or a 27-21-15-9 couplet, which is going to be in that 4 to 7 minute range, which I think is kind of where CrossFit was born from. And as I said in the beginning of this video, I don't know what the intention of this was, but through everything I've shown that I like to look for a definite picture. I want to see the fittest person come out of each and every competition, and I don't like to see a bias any single way. That is, unless I know that there's a purpose for that bias. What do you think? Do you feel as if these are skewed heavy? I'm going to try and get this out before anybody else gets any of their videos out, because I'm the guy in his garage who can talk about the things that they see on the internet immediately, and that gives me the power to make videos on my own. I don't have to wait for anybody or listen to anyone tell me to do anything. Andrew Hiller out.